Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This is my first Twitch and YouTube live broadcast, so I hope that I am coming through clearly. Today I'm just gonna be very chill and low-key and try not to overcomplicate anything and just make a simple piece of jewelry. I am a beginner. I just started this hobby a few weeks ago, but I have been obsessed with watching mostly beginner jewelry tutorial videos, so I have been practicing a little bit and I thought I would share my journey in bead making with you. I just thought it would be fun to do that. So here's the set that we're going to be working with. This is actually my first set of beads, and I pretty much ordered everything from Temu, only because it's both economical and meaning it's cheap, and also because I get to really go through all the available different kinds of beads and take my time picking out what beads I wanted. One of the things that was important to me was picking a cohesive color palette and theme with the beads I wanted, with the jewelry that I wanted to make. I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all the selection that is available for beginner beaders, and I think that for me, I just wanted a basic set that I know that if I put it all together, somehow it'll still be somewhat cohesive and will look pretty good, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining all of this stuff. So let me check on my chat. I don't really expect anybody to be here. So yeah, it doesn't look like anyone is here, which is good because it's less pressure on me as this is my first stream. Okay, so like I said, this is my first stream and this is the this is my first stream and this is the bead collection that we're going to be working with, which I got everything from Temu, and I wanted a cohesive color palette because I feel like it'll let me make pieces that look good. So let me talk a little bit about how we got here. So I never saw myself as anybody who would start jewelry making as a hobby. That was totally not in my horizon, but I moved to this new city, and in this new city where I moved to, there is a mall with the Claire's in it, and I haven't been to Claire's in a long time. And as I walked in, I got really inspired by the look of Claire's. Like, I really like that kind of cheap teenager look. And when I was browsing through the bracelet section and I wanted to buy like a cheap bracelet, just, you know, for a little fun, a little bling, I thought that I didn't really see anything there that was specific to what I wanted. So I thought I would just kind of make my own. I thought it would be fun to DIY this. So I went down this rabbit hole of jewelry making where I was watching a lot of beading videos that is not even related to what I wanted to make, but taught me some basic skills, and I've been able to practice with this set. I think it would be useful to talk a little bit about the cost and how much it costs to get something like this started, only because when you're starting a new hobby, I feel like you have this budget that you're working with, especially in the current economic times, but it's really easy to go over budget is what I realized with jewelry making. Like there's just so much stuff that I didn't realize that I needed. For example, you have, of course, you need beads, and then you need these things called findings. And findings are just those things that you use to attach different beads, like clasps and jump rings and little crimps, which are used for securing your stringing. So yeah, there's a lot. And then in terms of beads, I found that when I was picking beads out, so this is what my process was for ordering from Temu. I was indiscriminately adding lots of different kinds of beads to my cart. And then I had a budget, so I started taking out beads that didn't really go together with the other beads. And I started also, yeah, aside from that, I also decided to choose beads of different sizes. So you need small, simple beads, I think, as spacers, so you can space other beads out that are bigger and that are more kind of unique looking. So let me give you an example. So let me just open this up. So my plan was to use these simple round beads as spacers for these more colorful ones, or these faceted shiny ones. And then I have these butterfly beads. I don't really like actually these butterfly beads, and I think this is the first and the last time I'll be ordering these. Actually, after playing with this set, I think that after using up this set, I'm probably going to be ready to level up and maybe not order my beads from Temu as much anymore and just start using like more quality stuff like check glass beads if I wanted to continue working with glass beads, which I am interested mostly in glass beads. I'm not really interested in stone or gemstones right now. That's a little too... that's like a can of worms I'm not prepared or interested in opening up right now. In fact, after this, I want to get into more bead weaving with seed beads. So seed beads, they look like this. They look like the regular beads that you would see in Dollarama and these other places. So they look like this. Let me get like my really cheap set of seed beads. So this is something that you would see in every dollar store and in every beginner kind of beading kit are these very simple seed beads. And they come in all sorts of colors and sizes. And you know, for most of my life, I never really thought anything much of these beads, but actually you could get really cheap ones and then you can get premium ones. The premium ones are made in Czech and in Japan, and they're premium because they have these really beautiful finishes. You could get them in metallics, you could get them in frosted glass, they're all glass, or you could get them in these matte opaque colors. Like there's so many finishes, but on top of that, they're also very even. So you could have an easier time and create a more beautiful product because these seed beads are just more even. So let me show you this. This is just the cheap stuff that you would get. So you get a lot of variation in sizes. Like here's a bead that I saved that I thought was so wonky, but I saved it because maybe, you know, you'll want it for a certain project where you need a wonky seed. So look how this isn't even round or cylindrical. It's just this wonky kind of like bean shape. And then I'm gonna show you a bigger size of the check. So this is check. So see how even, like they're like these really even donut shape as compared to this where you have a variation in width and sizing and even shapes. So with this, you can't really weave, but with this you can weave. You can create very even weaving and I'm really looking forward to getting started on some bead weaving projects later on. So, but today though, we're not going to need anything that requires this level of precision. I'm just going to use my cheap seed beads to create the bracelet. And these cheap seed beads, they're really great for stringing projects because sometimes you just want a little bit of fun and you don't really need your beads to be uniform. So yeah, let's just get started on my project. So, okay, let's get started. Let's see. Today, we're going to work on a project that I took inspiration from this YouTube channel that I really liked called GGC Beginning Beaders. So it's a great YouTube channel that teaches you how to make bracelets, primarily bracelets. And I wanted to start with bracelets because they're smaller and you can finish them faster. And also, I wanted to make bracelets for myself. So I thought, oh, like I would just learn to make these bracelets so that I could wear them. But I made a few and actually I gifted them. I did keep my very first bracelet project that I've ever made with these beads. So let me show that to you right now. So this, sorry, let me get out my special Ubisoft Toronto mat. I feel like I'm exposing kind of what region I'm in, but yes, I am located here near Toronto, not in the city of Toronto, but close enough. And I have a special Ubisoft mat, mouse pad actually. But this is an example of the bead that, the bracelet that I made using a tutorial that I followed. Of course, the lady, her name is Gina. In her channel, she used completely different beads. My aesthetic that I was going for is like cheap Claire's Sailor Moon aesthetic. So a lot more kind of that plasticky, fun, colorful pastel look. And Gina's channel is more kind of, I would say, elegant. So she uses a lot of gold and pearl. And I have all this kind of fake looking stuff. Actually, all of my seeds are made of glass. I don't have any plastic beads. I kind of drew the line. I drew the line on plastic. I wanted something with a little bit more substance, so I chose glass for all of my beads. So that's one of my criteria. So just glass. Like I said, I didn't want to open up the can of worms and do shell or gemstones or minerals. That's just, currently I'm just not interested in that. There's so much to do with just glass beads as a material, and when you wear it, which actually, let me put this on. This is a little hard to put on because it's so chunky. It doesn't look chunky, but there's like 3 strands going on here, and I have a very small ring clasp. This is a ring clasp. You just kind of open, you have to press this little thing and open it this way, like that. So it's pretty, I would say it's really hard to put on. So let me attempt to put this on. Ugh. I might fail. I've succeeded to putting it on by kind of leaning. Sorry, let me take my jade bracelet off for this torture that I'm about to show you. Let me just try to put this on. Irk. Here you go. So it looks like this. I have really skinny wrists, so I don't really show bracelets well, but it's supposed to have like half one strand and then the other half is like this 3-strand multi-strand bracelet. And I've really been into multi-strand bracelets because they're really fun. They're kind of girly. I don't know why my webcam is flickering. Sorry, I apologize if that is really annoying. I'm not really sure how to fix that right now, so I'll figure that out another time. But yes, I apologize for my flickering webcam situation. Hopefully it doesn't bother you that much. Let me know if it does though, and I will investigate that for my second stream. But yeah, this is what I plan on making today. I'm gonna make another version. I've made actually 4 of these. I made this, kept it, and used it as a base to make 3 more with various color schemes, and also improving on every time I try to improve it a little bit more. For example, this one I only used 2 of these kind of colorful. See how like this is kind of iridescent? There's only 1 on each. Sorry, in this first version I only had 1 per strand, and I didn't even have any on this third one. So in subsequent iterations I included 1 per, because I thought it would look nicer as another focal point. So just small changes like that. And I also made this section shorter, because let me unclasp this again. Because if you look, this is really long. This is long compared to, sorry, this is long compared to this. So if I did this, you could see that this section with all the stars and the small beads is longer, and I wanted them to be more even. Ta-da! So yeah. Alright, enough chatter. Let's start. So what do we need here to get started? Let's see. Well, we need seed beads, because I use them as spacers. Let me see what color seed beads I want to work with today. I have a few options here. These beads were actually left to me by a friend of mine who had given up their jewelry crafting activities, and I kept them for many years. I kept them for so long, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I was just using them as props for other projects of mine, just kind of sprinkling them as props. So I've had these forever, and I never thought that I would use them for actual jewelry making, but then here I am, so I'm glad I kept them. Although I have also given away, I've given away the majority of the things that my friend left me, because I was decluttering like crazy at that time. So I gifted so many other beads, so many other jewelry pieces, costume jewelry pieces, but I kept these seed beads for some reason. I just thought they're so much fun, and I could use them as props. So today we're gonna be, so this is the seed beads I use here are gold, but why don't we do pink today? Pink is fun, and it goes with the rest of this palette. I think what I'll also do later on is I'll probably go through my Temu and I'll price these out, just so that I could figure out really how much does this basic set cost. I also have some other things that I got that I haven't unpacked yet, and I think we'll use them. So I'm gonna use the star beads. I love these star beads. Earlier I mentioned that I really didn't like these butterfly beads, and I'll tell you why. Because these butterfly beads, they're very pretty, and they're very reflective, and they're nice and small and dainty, but I don't like that they're kind of sharp. Like, these edges are a little sharp, and I'm worried that they would be uncomfortable to wear or not super safe. So I won't be using them for bracelets, because bracelets, they tend to wear them against your skin, so I don't like that. But I did like these stars. They come in little packs like this from Temu. They come in a pack of 50, and they give you can choose if you want only a specific color, if you want a variety. And I said, of course I want a variety. It's my first time working with these, so I want to see different kinds, and if I gravitate towards one particular finish, then I might order more from that. But in the meantime, yeah, send me all the different kinds you have. So I got the pack of 50, so we'll refill we will refill a couple of boxes. What else did I want to mention? Yeah, so today we'll be working with the stars. And then what else did I need to unpack? I unpacked. Okay, so I'm gonna use a different clasp. So you see how earlier I really struggled with this ring clasp? So I got these lobster clasps that are very small and tiny, and they look like, you know, regular. You can get bigger versions of them, but they look like kind of what you would see on a keychain, but smaller. Also in gold. One of the things I decided early on was I didn't want to struggle with having to work with two different kinds of metals, so I said, okay, let's just do gold everything. That way I could also keep costs down, because then I don't have to buy two sets of everything, you know? So this is a lobster clasp, and actually this is so small. This is so small that I don't know that it would be easier to use these. But I hear they're very secure, and they're way more secure than ring clasps. So yeah, that's how you would open them. Yeah, so why don't we use these tiny little lobster clasps today? They're really no better. Or sorry, they're not easier to use than these ring clasps. Hopefully they'll be more durable, as the reputation says about them. Okay, so we'll use a lobster clasp today. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Let me open up this bag. Pair of scissors. Open up this bag of stars. Oh, actually, I think I'm gonna just peel this. Just kind of pour some in there. They don't really take up that much space once you put them, take them out of the bag. Get in there. Alright, let's set these bags aside. I'll put them in two different boxes so it'll be easier for me to grab them. Find the ones that I like and grab them. I like to use all different kinds of finishes in the same bracelet just for interest. Okay, let's get started. Let's see. Do I have anybody in chat wanting to say anything? Let me just check. Okay, all right, let's get started. So let me just use my Ubisoft mat. I was researching beading pads, but then I saw somewhere online that you could really just use a mouse pad and it will give you some friction to be able to bead without all your beads rolling around everywhere. But I don't really have a plain one. Actually, I do have a plain one, but I'm using it right now, so I'm not using this Ubisoft mouse pad, so I'm going to be using my soft mouse pad. Right. Okay, let's see. What do we need? Okay, first, here's our model of what we're going to be making. So first things first is I need to grab some stringing wire. Okay, so this is a brand new stringing wire because I used up the other one that I bought. When I was first buying stringing materials, I only bought like a small amount of stringing wire because I didn't know if I wanted to work with these or if I wanted to get a different color. One thing to note is that gold Beadalon 49 strand stringing wire is so hard to find here in Canada, and it's so expensive. So I was able to get this from Michael's, which is our kind of chain craft store. I think they also have this in America. I was able to get this for 20 Canadian dollars, and that was already after like a 30 or 40, I think it was 40% discount, and it gives you 30 feet. So I think that's really expensive. I think you can get this from the States for like way less. I think for like half or less than half. So yeah, it's a lot. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend that much money on stringing wire, but this really is a great stringing wire. The reason being that it's really strong. So it says here it's got the best flexibility, best softness, best drape, best kink resistance, best abrasion resistance, and best strength. So I cheaped out on my beads and got them from Temu, but I didn't want to cheap out on my stringing wire because if I'm gifting them to friends or if I'm selling them in my coffee store, I don't want the stringing wire to be an issue. I don't want the stringing wire to break. I want it to be comfortable to wear, so I want really good flexibility. And I also wanted to have an easier time. So there are just some things that it's just better if I just got the good stuff right off the bat and just not have to struggle with what I'm working with. And so that's something I kind of built into my budget when starting this hobby, is what should I splurge on and what should I go cheap on, and what color palette should I stick to so I'm not overwhelmed by all the choices, you know? Sometimes I go on Facebook Marketplace to see if anybody is selling their beading collection, and I see a few, and even though well, first of all, they're not even selling their beads at a hugely discounted price. Maybe hugely discounted for them from when they bought it, but like some of these people are selling their collections for like $150 or $200 and or even like $50, and it's just like, you know, I guess it depends on who they're trying to sell it to, but the thing about Facebook Marketplace is that these are beads that probably cater to that person's aesthetic, and it may not match the kind of aesthetic that you're trying to make. So, and on top of that, I feel like I saw these beads and they're just, it's just people just kind of hoarded them. So there's just so many kinds, and I'm like, how do you even start to create? Like I think some people are really good at picking from so many options to make something, but I can't do that. This is a hobby that's supposed to like let me relax, so I just need to make things easy for myself and just start from like a cohesive palette, and I can make many different kinds of projects with this one palette, and I fully intend to on this channel. But that's just my little rant on but I do understand, though. I do understand the temptation to just want to like buy as many beads as possible because it's fun, and there are so many interesting beads, so many finishes, so many places like to get them from, so many, I would say, like styles. So yeah, I understand the desire to buy as many beads as possible, as many beads as you can possibly get your hands on. And I've been there. I have a lot of different colored seed beads, but that's another story. I got like a collection of seed beads, and I'm only going to be working with these seed beads for the rest of however long, and I got them on sale on Black Friday. So I thought, okay, like I'm starting a new hobby. It's a good time to get some supplies because it was a really good Black Friday sale. And I don't plan on buying any more new beads, seed beads, in a while. Anyway, let's get started on this project. I feel like I have chattered enough. I don't really plan on streaming all night. I'm not planning on streaming for like 4 hours straight or anything. I don't really have a lot of time. So let's just try to get a project done within the time that we have. And again, I apologize as I see that I am flickering for some reason. When I tested my setup, I didn't see any flickering, so I don't know why it would be flickering now. So I'm just following along Gina's tutorial, which I've done this a few times, so I kind of know what I'm doing now. So yeah, I'm just gonna measure out a 9-inch string. So let's just measure that out. It's 9 inches. And I'm gonna give a little extra for this first one because I see that this is a little kinked up and weird. So maybe I'll just kind of chop that off. Here. Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching my stream. I don't know if I think I'm probably the only one watching my own stream, but that's okay. I'm very grateful to be able to do this. So here we go. So I'm just gonna measure 3. And then the next step. The next step is not fun. The next step, I have to crimp. So crimping, I found out afterwards from just reading the comments and people watching crimping tutorials, crimping is not a fun activity. Or crimping is not fun. Let me actually get this out of the way because it's better for contrast to see what I'm doing. But crimping is not fun. Okay. Alright. So crimping is the process of where did that go? Okay. Crimping is the process of, let me just get this out of the way. I don't need this tape measure anymore. Crimping is the process of securing your stringing wire. So, and that's another thing. I need to do a comparison video or a comparison segment comparing. So I got these gold plated stainless steel crimps. So the material is stainless steel and it is gold plated. And I'm just having a hard time with it. And I read on Reddit somewhere in one of their jewelry making beading subreddits that if you use something like a sterling silver, oh my goodness, where did that go? Where did that go? It popped into something. Hold on, let me look for it. It's okay. I have a ton here, but I mean, I thought it would be easier for me to find something once it has popped into another location. It's okay. I have a ton. It's fine. I'm sure it'll pop up again later. But stainless steel apparently is a very hard material to work with because it's not very malleable. So I did order stainless steel crimps because I really wanted to have an easier time, and also because I really wanted to test that hypothesis. And sterling silver crimps, not stainless steel. Sterling silver crimps are better apparently because they are more malleable. But yeah, that's something we can test because I did order some. Okay, so here's me attaching that little tiny little crimp tube. And oh my goodness, this is so hard. I still haven't mastered how to do this, but you're supposed to twist it so that the two wires are laying side by side and not crisscrossed, like this. And then, by the way, I'm sorry for my horrible nail polish job. I look like I just murdered someone or something. Can you say that on Twitch? I don't. But anyway, oh my god, I hope I don't get flagged on YouTube. What I meant is that my nail polish job is awful, and my nails are also awful. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about my nails. Please focus on not my nails. Anyway, okay, so I'm attaching this crimp. So this is gonna be so painful for me to do, and hopefully, and I think probably for you to watch. Hopefully I'll get through it because it's gotta be done. Yeah, you know what? Let me just get a little bit more tail in there. Sometimes I watch tutorials on how to crimp, and I don't know how some people make it look so easy. I'm pretty sure they've had years of practice, but they literally like do this in one go and it's perfect. It looks perfect. And I'm like, how? Okay, so you're supposed to just, you know what? I have noticed that if you turn your crimp, I don't know, maybe it's just for me, but if I turn this kind of curvy side so that it's like at the top, I can kind of see it better where exactly I am pressing. And it's my wire is twisting, so I gotta just rearrange that. Let's see, pull it a little bit tighter and make that divot. So my wire is actually quite fine. It is a 0.018, I think, millimeter. Let me just look at the specs on that. But I've crimped it. I've pressed it. So you're supposed to like do it so that each wire is in its own little area of the divot. But let's see, what is the width of the sterling wire? I don't know if that even matters. Where did I put my wire? Right here. So I'm using 0.018 inch, so 0.46 millimeters. So it's pretty skinny, but it's not the skinniest. You could get even thinner than that or smaller seed bead projects. Okay, so let me fold my crimp over. So let's fold that, and did it work? Okay, yeah, I got it on. All right, so now it's folded. So see how like it's folded over? Maybe you can't quite see because I'm not doing a good job of showing it, but it's kind of folded over. So let me just pull, give it a tug to make sure it's secure. There, it's pretty secure. Okay. Let's attach the next wire. Okay. You know, maybe I'll bust out the the sterling silver one and see if that would be a better experience for me on my last wire. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Okay. Here we go. So got that on. So I'm gonna pull this a little bit closed. a little bit more. And then I'm going to make sure that they're laying side by side so that my crimp won't get messed up. So now I saw this lady say that you could just kind of hold them like this so they're separated, but I've tried that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends. Pull it up. And crimp. Okay, so I've made that divot. And crimp it on this. Turn it vertically and crimp it in this other section. Okay, that looks all folded up. And let me give it a tug to make sure it's secure. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Okay, for this last one, I'm gonna use a sterling silver crimp tube because I'm so curious. The sterling silver crimp tubes are way more expensive than the stainless steel ones, and for good reason. I mean, it is sterling silver, so it's sterling silver precious metal, I believe. Yeah, it's like precious metal, right? So I think I'll look up the prices, but I think the sterling silver was like 4 times more expensive than, or no, sorry, like three-ish times more expensive than the stainless steel gold-plated crimp tubes. These are tiny little 2x2 crimp tubes. You can get them even smaller. You can get them like, and by 2x2 I mean 2mm by 2mm. You can get them even smaller. You can get them like 1mm by 1mm. Yeah. I guess if you're trying to do like more detailed projects with them, maybe with earrings or even, you know, bracelets, I guess that would be the use case. Hold up, let me make sure my wires are not crossed. Okay, here goes. Oh, how do I feel about sterling silver? Let me see. Let me fold that up. I fail. Ugh. Hold on. My first... Okay, I failed. So when I tried to fold this crimp tube, all it did was open up. Because see how like instead of flattening and then folding in half, it just opened up. And I have ruined, I would say, like half a dozen crimp tubes by... So you know what, that's a fail, and that kind of sucks because those crimp tubes are more expensive, but goes to show that sometimes it's not about having better materials, but it's about being more skillful and more experienced and well practiced, right? Isn't that like a common adage that people have? It's that sometimes it's not about having the most expensive things. Sometimes it's just being more skillful. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my stainless steel, cheap stainless steel crimp tubes, because I don't think I can take it if I ruin another expensive sterling silver crimp tube. Oops. Okay, here we go. Dear. I'm sorry if this is a little painful to watch. We'll get into the more exciting beading part in a bit. I just need to attach my stringing wire first before we can have any strings to string on. Okay, here we go. Looks like I did that right. I'm having more luck with this cheaper stainless steel gold-plated crimp tube than with the sterling silver one, but no, I'm not. I'm not having more luck. I am struggling. Hold on, let me just do that again. Let me just fold it over. Okay. Thank goodness it went on. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's give this a tug. Great. It's pretty strong now. Amazing. So now we have all three. Okay. All right, so let's start stringing. Let's bring out our Ubisoft mat. And let's bring out a selection of beads. Just like that. Stringing is actually pretty relaxing if you already have sort of a plan of what you want to do. In my case, I don't really have a plan right now. I'm just trying to get some interesting beads in there. My personal thing that I just try to do when I'm stringing is to give it a good variety. So, for example, this is a pearl finish. And then this one is a glassy crystal finish. So I like that. But there isn't a variety in size. And I think that I want that variety. So let's see. Well, it's not fitting, so I will just have to go with variety for now. Okay. There we go. I'm going to introduce a little bit of purple into my stringing. And now I think I'm going to do smaller beads. So this is a good sort of way to add variation, is just to use these really inexpensive uneven seed beads. They do add a lot of texture because they're all different sizes, so even if you put them in a row, they'll have the same finish, but they'll all be kind of shaped differently. This one is a little bit different. This bead is, I think it's called like inside color, because the outside is transparent glass, but it's got like a little bit of paint on the inside, and then you're seeing the color through the transparent glass. This one I learned, this shape of bead is called bicone, because it looks like two cones put together on either side and they just kind of smushed them. So this is called a bicone. And I didn't even know that when I first started, but eventually when you're shopping, you're like, what's this shape called? What's this shape? And the more tutorials you watch, the more you learn, okay, that's a bicone, because it's like this shape, like this, two cones put together. That. And I got pink and purple bicones. There are other projects that use bicones that I want to try out eventually, so I think there's this random like purple, they call these bugle beads because they're like these longer cylinders in this mix. But let me just measure this out. Once I get to about 3 inches, I'm gonna stop. And I'm gonna do another string. I plan for this bracelet to be about, I would say, 6.5 inches is a good length, average length for most people, at least that's what I saw on the internet. But 6.5, 7 I think is the average, so I think that that's what we'll aim for as the final size of our beads. I've put on the first sort of iridescent round bead in this string. I have one actually set aside here in the corner, and that's because one thing I didn't realize is when you buy beads, not all of them will be perfect. So this one is flat on one side. It's like it got smushed on one end and it's flat. It's not round. And I thought that was weird, and I wasn't sure if I could use this bead, because of that flaw. But seeing as we're not really going for any kind of high-end situation here, I reconsidered and I didn't toss it out, and I would just probably use it still. I mean, the fact is that these seed beads are also uneven. So they they're not even perfect to begin with, so there's no need to try to get perfection even in the beads that you use, I don't think. Okay, I still have a ways to go. Let's just add more beads. This one is just clear, but it's got a finish, an iridescent finish to it. So it has that color changing when it reflects the light. So I thought that was interesting how they treated this glass bead. Okay. Let's see now. There's another purple one. That's the metallic one. I think that would look good against this transparent. Let's measure this out. Looking okay. And I think we're getting close to 3 inches of beads. Yeah, I think I can put maybe like 3 more. So let's do some of the purple ones. And there. That's our first strand. It's very whimsical, it's very pastel. So I think it's very cute. Very, I would say more on the like random side. Okay, so I'm gonna need to tape this up because I don't really have that stopper tool that professionals use to hold their beads in place. Just grab it. Okay, so just use a piece of tape. That's what the pros also recommend if you don't have like a clip. So I'm just gonna tape it in here. And there. It's our first string. Pretty cute. But it's very overwhelmingly pink. So I'm gonna try to get it to be a little bit more purple in the middle, in the second strand. So let's look for the second strand. Okay, here's the second strand. Let's do a little bit more purple so that it'll be like, let's do like a pink, purple, pink kind of pattern. So this one, the second one, we're doing a little bit more purple. I think it'll look really good. And I'm also going to stagger this round opal-y looking bead. I'm gonna stagger that. So I'm gonna put it in a different spot in this next string. Here we go. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of purple seed beads in this package. So let me see if I can find some purple seed beads in my other stash. That. I have this. I think this will have to do. I don't really have a purple mix. I do have a bluish mix, but that's not... I think that's a little bit beyond the range of the palette that we're working with, that we're trying to work with here. Ooh, that's a lot. And by that I mean, here's the blue. So that's a little too blue for, I think, what we're trying to do here. So I won't use that. However, I do have some check seed beads that I can also throw in. This one is Toho, 8 O's. I want it to be a bit more pastel though. Do I have any that are more pastel than that? I'll just have to... Oh, these are tiny. I'll just have to check later, but I think we're good with this. This is... We have enough purple. We have, or at least enough to swing it to the more purple color family, or colorway, just from using these round beads, these other round faceted beads, and this purple bicone mixture, and there are even some purple in this pink bicone mixture. So I think we'll have enough to make a whole strand of it. So I'm not gonna worry about it too much, and I'm just gonna grab a few so I can combine them and make a nice mix of purple beads to just to complete this very short 3-inch strand that we're doing right now. Right there. Is there anyone on chat? Nope, no one's on chat? Okay. No problem. No problemo. Okay, so let's do this. There are a few little purpley beads, and some of these fuchsia leaning beads I could use as spacers. That's too many spacers though. Let's save that for in between other ones. Okay, so let's put this in like, I want the star beads and basically I want the main bigger beads, like these stars, and the round opaly beads to be staggered. So I don't want them to sit right quite adjacent to each other, so I'm gonna space them so that they are a bit more staggered. There we go. Now let's grab a star. I think I want something more bright. And when I'm stringing, I'm putting all the stars in one direction. So the pointy part of the star is all facing in one direction, just so that it's got a little bit more cohesion. So it's got that nice purple streak in the middle. And there's no star in this section, so I'm gonna place another star. And I'm not going to go out of my way to look for a purple star. I quite like having a variety of colors, not just pink and purple in the stars, so that the stars can pop against the purple and the pink. So we'll go a little bit adjacent in the color wheel, and we'll do red right there. And then we'll do a few more of these spacers and crystal in various finishes, round bead. This one is transparent, so the next one probably would be either translucent or actually should I add a third star? Yeah, let's just add a third star, why not? Let's add this greenish with gold flecks. And then we'll finish off with this purple frosted glass shiny look. And maybe another darker purple. So let's do a darker purple, just to give it that sort of mysterious kind of vibe, you know, to this purple streak. You know, it's not all pink, you know, you've got a little dark purple mysterious vibe going on with this. Okay, I think that's pretty even. It's a little longer, but it should be fine. Okay. Let's put a stopper on this string, and we'll come back to that later. Okay, for the last one, the third one, we're going to be doing, so this is like a pink, and this is more kind of purple. So the last one will go back to doing pink, just so it'll be a pink, purple, pink situation. So let me get out my pinker beads. And well, let me tuck that tail in there. So I'm gonna hide, I have this tail from this wire, so I'm just gonna pop that into the bead to hide it, like that. Just hide that extra so that it obviously won't be seen, but also to have a little bit of tail gives you a little bit more security in your stringing, and it'll, I guess, word on the street is it'll help to prevent your string from coming loose. But I don't know, I've never really experienced that. I think it just helps make it look neater rather than cutting it right close to the crimp and having a random little loose piece of wire that you can kind of see. Yeah, so I just think it looks a lot more clean, a lot cleaner to do it that way. Wow, look at me talking like a jewelry expert. Really, I don't really know what I'm talking about because I'm 100% a beginner at this, but I'm just trying to say my real opinions here based on what I observe. I have too many transparent ones in a row, so I'm gonna add a few of these more frosted, more opaque colors. Or I might even just put a star actually. Yeah, let me just do that. I'll put a star. Let me put a spacer bead, a spacer seed bead, and a star. Let's see what color star should we add. Maybe like a yellow, a more yellowish, pinkish gradient star look, like this. And then we'll put a little spacer here. Any spacer that has a pink tone, so it doesn't have to be this pearly spacer, even this fuchsia colored spacer is fine. Actually, that is a little too close to the first. It looks a little too close to the first strand. So I think I'll just have to vary it up a little bit more so it's not looking too close to the first strand. And I'm gonna add another one of these white, not white, I would say clear. They call this effect AB. AB is when there's this kind of iridescent effect. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm going to add let's not overcomplicate things. We'll just add another spacer bead, another seed bead, and a round pink bead, bike cone, another star, and then we'll add another seed bead, and then a bike cone. Then we'll add another sorry, I'm just checking. Just checking something on the PC. And then another seed bead. I feel like this strand has more seed beads than the other strand, eh? Oh, hold on. I haven't added my moonstone yet to this strand. And I wanted it to be around here. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna separate this in this area like that and just try not to disturb the order of that. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the little opaly moon-ish, opaly moonstone-ish looking glass bead. Yeah, I like that positioning because it's in the middle. It's here, here, here. And then we'll go ahead and just pick up where we left off and just add back all the other beads that I just removed in order. And that way I don't have to think about, I don't have to redo everything from scratch. I can just continue on with how we're going. Okay. And let's see. I think that we're approaching the end of this strand, so I'm just gonna add a few more in there. And let's see now. Is it about close to the other ones? You think? Sort of? Maybe a couple more? In that case, I'm taking out this and I'm going to add around, wow, this pink bead needs to be separated. Hold on, there we go. Separate it with my finger. I'm gonna add this pink bead like that. Let's see, is there something interesting I can add, like a special? I think this is pretty interesting. This one is a little bit of a oval-y bead and it's really shiny. And I like that to go here. Okay. Finally, we're done with all three. So I'm going to take out the tape on the first two strands that we've made. It's one tape, two tape. And now we're going to gather all of the strands together. So the way I like to do it is I just like to hold it in my hand like this and just start pulling the string in my hand as I go, like that. And I'll continue to tighten once I have put the first bead in. Okay. So I'm gonna slide the bead down there and I'm just going to pull on the strands to make sure that they're flush against this bead, like that, so that you don't see too much wire in this area. But I'm also gonna make sure, ooh, let me put everything back in place so that I won't have them mixed up for the next time I want to use them. I'll know that I'm getting them from the correct areas of my case. All right, let's see. So yeah, I want to pull them so that I don't see too much of this wire, but also I don't want to pull them so hard that you can't wrap them. So it looks like they're still very easy to bend and fold. So this looks good to me. There's not that much wire showing, so that looks good. That's really cute so far. It's got that cute little twin star Sanrio look to it. So now I'm going to continue. Let me just measure this because we're aiming for 6.5, which means I have to go to about 6 at the most. So we are at 3.5 right now. So let's just drop down a few of these single bead, sorry. Let's just drop down a few beads here to make the single strand side of this bracelet. I think that there's a lot going on here. So we want this to be colorful, but I don't want it to be crazy. So I'm just gonna use only 2 kinds of beads. Just this blue and pink glass bead and then this plain pink spacer. If I can get all 3 strands through it. Which they barely fit, but they are going through. And I'm gonna take a look, and right now, aside from the size, I don't really see a lot of variation in the color. They're very similar in terms of finish, and even the pink from this bigger bead is similar to the pink on the smaller bead. So I I don't really think that that is very nice. So I just want a little bit more punch, you know? I just want a little bit more bling, or I just want a little bit more sparkle. So I'm gonna try to pick out all the metallics. So I have this bicone mix right here, and there are these metallic pinks. I'm just gonna try to pick them out and use them, because I think that the smooth glassy bead will contrast nicely with the more metallic ones. And if I don't have enough of the same shade of metallics, then I'm going to use different shades. But as long as they're metallics, I think that that's the best I'm going to be able to hope for. And that just means I won't have any metallics left from this set. Maybe. Or maybe I won't have that many left. But I'm okay with that. The goal is to use up this whole collection of beads and move on to other kinds of beads. Specifically moving on, I would like to move on to check beads. Those I would love to be able to play with more quality beads. Yeah, I think that's good. Again, I'm not gonna belabor and overthink everything. The whole thing is just to experiment and have fun and enjoy the process. And that there's just one point where you just have to say, oh, like, it's good enough, it looks good to me, and move on, you know? And honestly, I think also this is sort of kind of what I think is the best look for this style at the moment. Yeah, I really enjoy that contrast. I'll show it to you a little bit more when I'm done, what it looks like once I have strung this side of the...
Michelle Nava 33 is now following.
Oh, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so I think that that's good because this milky coloration is contrasting nicely with the metallics here. So when you put that on, you know, you've got this nice smooth feel, and then when you turn your wrist, it gives you that little hit of bling. So I think that that's pretty cute. So yes, once again, I would like to thank GGC Beginning Beaders YouTube channel for this design, this base design, and for allowing me to work off of that basic design to create my own version of it. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm blushing. I didn't realize someone was watching, so thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I'm trying to make like a cutesy Sailor Moon, like Claire's aesthetic with this bracelet. I just find that so nostalgic, and basically, you know, if I'm wearing it, or if the person I'm giving this to wears it, I want them to kind of smile, you know, just have it kind of give them like that kind of cute, smiley kind of feeling is the vibe I'm going for. There we go. Okay, so how long is this? Let's measure. Sometimes I lose track and I just keep beating and beating until the very end, and I'm like, oh, it's too big now. Okay, so we've still got a ways to go, but not that much more. So we're going for a 6.5. 7 is the average based on Google, but I think that what I'll do is I'll do 6.5. Maybe I'll do a dangle with an extender, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just, I can always make another bracelet that's bigger or smaller. There's many more bracelets to be made in this channel, so this isn't the end all be all if I make it a specific size. And the whole point is to, yes, it's a bracelet, yes. Thank you. I really like the stars too. This is the set that I'm working with, so I specifically, I went on Temu and I just picked out some beads that I thought would go well together in all different sizes, and the stars, they come in a pack. Let me see, I still have a pack. I like them so much I ordered a few more. They come in a pack of 50, and I ordered a few of these because they come assorted. You can order them in single colors, but I wanted all different kinds. But the problem with that is that when you get them, you only get a few of each kind in a pack. So there was this one finish that I adored, and I wanted to get a pack of just that, but it was sold out, which I understand why it would be sold out because it's so cute. Let me see if I can find that particular finish that I thought was extra cute. But yeah, it can be pretty overwhelming when you're starting out. At least what I found, it can be pretty overwhelming when you're starting out to see so many beads and just want to buy them all. But my strategy is just to pick a color palette and a vibe that I wanted to work with. So I wanted to be like Sailor Moon, like colors, like very fun, very pastel, very pink, very purple. That's why my username is Sailor Purple. But I wanted that kind of vibe, so this is kind of, I would say like a more, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is sort of that vibe. The more kind of lighthearted, fun, not, it's still cheap, but not like, I'm sorry, Claire's, but not like that cheap, but like still kind of cheap looking. Like, I just want something that is fun, and it's not a bad thing for it to be like cheap looking. It just, I would say that it's got its own charm, Let me find that finish. Let me see if they have it. Oh, here. I think this one has it. I can't believe that I opened one pack and I cannot believe that none of the stars in the one pack that I opened had that. I'm gonna take it out of this packaging and I'm going to string it just so you could see how pretty that particular finish is that I wanted to get more of that is out of stock. So it's this one. So if I take it out, let me get a better example. Oh, this one, see, this is the finish. This is my favorite one. I would get a pack of just this finish if I can. So it's transparent on one side, but on the other side, it's got that kind of foil look to it. Yeah, so this one, I love this foil look. Silver foil, like silver gift wrapping foil, it has that finish to it. So that's my favorite, and I wanted more of it, but the other ones are cute too. The other ones have kind of gold flecks on it. Oh, I'm so sorry for the flickering. This is my first stream, so I don't really know how to fix issues like that. But yeah, this one has gold flecks, which is pretty cute too. But I don't know, I like that gold foil situation going. Yes, I agree. I like that one. But anyway, let's let's continue on with this, finishing up this bracelet, because we're almost done. After I get to 6 inches, I'm going to start putting on the clasping. So I think we can do one more round bead and one more metallic bead. So let's do that. So when you buy beads, one thing I didn't realize is that sometimes they come a little bit wonky. Like this one is flat. It's completely flat, like it's been pressed down. So I'm not sure I wanted to use that, so I had to put it aside. But yeah, that's one thing, is like, oh, I can get a lot of use out of one pack, but sometimes you can't use the whole pack. But thankfully most of the beads in this pack are okay. Most of them are arrived in good condition. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. All right, so that is 6. That is 6. Yay, we're done. Okay, let's finish this off. So I'll clean this up later because I wanted to get to the end because it's getting late. It's getting late at night, and we should try to end this session with a nice little project completed. Okay, so I'm gonna end not with this bead. I'm gonna end with a seed bead. The seed bead, it's in all of the rest of this bracelet. It's interspersed. It's this one, this pearl seed bead. And the reason for that is because I don't know how I feel about oh, did I don't know how I feel about, oh, why won't it go through? Okay, so the thing with these cheaper seed beads is that the hole is variable. So sometimes you get ones with bigger holes and sometimes with smaller ones. So you just have to, the good thing is you can pick one that fits. But you can't always, yes, use the perfect, exactly. Because I mean, there's so much going on with this already that, like, plus if you have an opportunity to use the good ones, of course I want to use the good ones first, right? That's just like, why not? And then the wonky ones, you know, I might not even ever use them, so I might just kind of toss it aside. It's just one bead, it's fine. So I think I'll end with this because I'm gonna be putting on the clasping, and I need a little bit of transition. So when you're putting the clasping on, okay, so I have an example of a finished one that's not as nice. It's the first ever one I made of this version. When you transition, so I'm gonna have crimping here. You want to have something to hold on to, a little bit easier to hold on to, and you don't want the transition to be like right here. Then you're gonna have to like struggle with the clasp at the end of it right here. So I want to give it a little bit more this way to hold on to it, so that when you're clasping, it's a little bit easier. Yeah. Oh, thank you. This one is gold, using more of a gold base. This one is using more of a pink base. But I wanted to balance out this area a little bit more. That's why I made them a little bit more even. Because right now this is just such a tiny part, so when you wear it, it doesn't look balanced. So I'm trying to improve on this design. One step at a time. With every iteration, I try to see what I can improve. So that's how I ended up with this particular design. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but I mean, there's no wrong or right way to do something. It's just based on how you feel and what you want. But and honestly, I could also put 2 of these metal ones. Maybe that will work better actually, you know, because it'll match. So let's just put 2 of these metal ones. my wire is twisted, which is making it hard for me to string. Hold on. This is a lot of wire to pass through such a small bead, to be honest. So I understand why it would be challenging. But let me straighten up my wire and put it through. And hopefully it'll work. If not, I'll look for another bead that has that will work. Did that work? Oh my goodness, it's not going through. So this is too small. The hole for this is too small, so I'll pick out another one. I mean, it went through the others, so I think this, I just have to pick out the right one that has the right size hole. Okay, so that one went through. So I think that one works a little bit better. This is not elastic. I do have elastic string. Sorry. Blow my nose. I'm sorry. I don't have anything to blow my nose with. Here. Let me just go off camera for a sec. Sorry. Give me a moment. Okay, so I did buy elastic. I do have. So when I was ordering stuff from Temu, at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. So I ended up ordering this really cheap elastic, which cost, I think, $1 Canadian, which is about, I don't know, I think the Canadian dollar is so weak now. I think it's closer to like 65, 70 US cents for this really long stretch of elastic, 0.7 thickness. But I decided to put aside elastic for now. Although I really like the convenience of elastic, and I have a jade beaded bracelet that is elastic, like a really plain one, I find that it's just so easy to break. And with this glass, when they cut the hole in the glass, sometimes the hole is a little bit irregular, like this. It could be a little sharp. If you're not using a thick enough elastic or a good quality elastic, it's easy to cut the elastic and break the elastic. And on top of that, with elastic, it just degrades faster over time. So I guess if you pull it, eventually, if you don't take care of it, eventually, like, I think it'll be a little bit easier for it to break. So I decided, okay, like, I'm not gonna do elastic. Plus, because there's just so many strands in this that if you try to use elastic, they don't really make it that thin. Well, this one is, the thinnest elastic that I've seen is 0.5 millimeters, and I know that this one is 0.46, so it's not that much thinner, but you can go even thinner when you use stringing wire. You could go even 0.30 something millimeters. So you could do more, and it's just way stronger. Yeah. Yeah. Elastic, it can break easily, so that's why for this particular project, I want it to be durable, and so it's fine. Like, as long as the size is correct, I think it'll be okay for it to just be clasped. So that's my thoughts. But eventually, I do want to try an elastic project. I just don't want to use, I would say, I don't know that I want to use, I think it's okay for the Temu beads that are in this set. You know, they're not very expensive, but if you have really expensive beads, I wouldn't use elastic, because if it breaks, then you're gonna have to like scramble. And that's actually what happened to someone I know. Like, within a couple months, they broke their elastic bracelet, and then the beads were like all over the grass. Actually, I'm gonna do a live where I'm gonna repair that bracelet, because I have the pieces. But I'm going to repair it, and this time I'm going to use this stringing wire and a clasp. So that's actually a video that I had planned for future broadcast. So yeah, and yeah, I'll do that. So okay, let's finish off this bracelet. Let's start by crimping. First thing I'm going to do is make sure, one of my first mistakes is, look how stiff this is. I can't really bend it. It's because I secured it too tightly. So this is, and also there's not that many of these beads. So overall, it still bends really well. Like you can still get it around your wrist. But this situation here, this situation here is not perfect. It's not ideal. So what I want is a bracelet that when I bend it like this, it can bend a little bit better. See how much more you can bend that? It's more, I would say it's more easy to wear. It's more flexible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to make sure that there's space. Oh, so I want to get rid of all the extra ugly like wire that you can see here by just pulling it a little bit tighter like that and bringing it up one at a time. Like that. And then I want to give, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I do want to give it a little slack. So I'm going to crimp it, but I'm going to give it a little bit of room so that it can bend easier, like it can bend like this. So I'm going to just crimp it right there and make sure. So I'm going to use a crimper now, and I'm just going to crimp. So with stringing wire, you have to use a crimp. You have to use this tube thing to secure. You can't really tie a knot. Well, but the problem with this material, this crimping tube, is sometimes in the beginning it slides around. So you have to do that. And then so that's step one. So there's two areas in this crimping tube. Yeah, so I'm a beginner, so I don't even have as many tools as some of the professionals have. I just have like the basics of what you would need to get a project done. And I feel like that's a good way to go, is like watch a video of someone doing a project from start to finish and just buy just that, because but some of these tools, they come in sets too, so you could get each tool cheaper if you just buy the whole set. And if you know that you're going to be making a bunch of different kinds of projects where you're going to be using all the tools anyway, it's better just to buy the set. So yeah, one way to get a lot of tools really fast is to buy a set. So this is a very specific tool, and it's only for crimping, so only for securing these kinds of little things. But it's so useful because some people, what they do is they just use a flat plier, and they just use a plier to like flatten this. But with these crimp tubes, I have to fold them. I have to fold them down in order to secure them. And for that, you're gonna need the crimping tool. So now I'm gonna fold it. I don't know if you can see clearly, but it has to be like, the metal is flat and then you fold the metal in half. That's how you secure the crimp. Let's see if I can succeed. Okay, yeah, so this takes practice and is really hard, and hard for me anyway. Some people are very good at it, but I struggle with it. So now you can see it's folded in half. Yes, this one, I mean, security is very important, so there's a bit of a space there. Some people don't like that, but I needed to give it some flexibility, so I would rather that. I would rather a little space. It's fine. It's not unattractive. The rest of the bracelet is sparkly. No one will notice this little area right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut cut this. Cut 2 wires and just leave 1. This is for cutting wire specifically. You're gonna ruin your scissors if you use just regular scissors to cut wire, because this wire is made of steel. So you can't just use regular scissors. You have to use what they call flush cut. That popped. Okay, it's over there. I'm gonna have to vacuum the floor later on if I can't find where all of this stuff is going flying off to, but so now I'm leaving just the one. Yeah. And we'll cover up this tube because right now it looks like an ugly folded piece of metal, so we'll cover it up with a cover, what they call a crimp bead cover. So now what I usually do is right here, this version has 2 bead covers, one after another, but I'm wondering if I should even put another bead there. Another one of these metallic beads. The one with the smaller hole earlier that I couldn't use. Like that. And do another gold, or if I should just call it a day and do the gold bead, but I think that it's a little much, like metallic, metallic gold, so I think I'm just gonna end it with another, just plain, just finish it off nice and simple, you know, double it up to show that it is the end of the bracelet. Yeah. There's so the way this bracelet is made, I'm not sure if you've been watching, how long you've been watching the stream, but I have it so that it's staggered. Yeah, so this one string is like pink, mostly pink, and then another string is mostly purple, and then another string is mostly pink. So the middle is darker and mostly purple, like that, so that it has that nice pink and purple kind of effect. But I think I'll just end it here, like I'll just put the 2 beads on it and end it. That way, it'll not be confusing. It'll just be, okay, here's the end of the bracelet. We have all the beads on one side of the crimps. Okay, let's string the lobster clasp. Let's see. If I want the lobster clasp to open up this way, do I have to string it the other direction? That's something I never thought about actually, but maybe it's relevant. So if I'm right-handed, right, and I put it on, so I want to put it on this way, so I have to put it on this way, I think, in order for me to be able to grab it, in order for it to be the correct direction. But maybe it's not even important. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Thank you so much. So let me yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. I like the colors too, they go together, I think. Okay, let me put this on. Honestly, even though I only have these beads right now that I will be working with over the next few live streams, I'm curious to see what different kinds of projects you can do with just one set of one collection of beads. You know, I feel like one way to spark your creativity is to limit your options a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I've secured, no, I haven't secured it yet, but I have placed the lobster clasp into the stringing wire and made sure there's a little bit of movement there so that it's not like stuck in one spot. And let's go ahead and crimp. Actually, let me give it a little space between the 2 crimps. You know what, I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm gonna pull it up a little. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. I'll pull it up a little bit. Oh, and I have to make sure that the wire is not crossing. That's very important. Otherwise, the crimp won't fold properly when you go to fold it later, and it'll be okay. So I made this mistake in my very first bracelet. Yes, everything is important. Wow, I got a spammer. But anyway, I learned that if you don't do this right, that what will happen is that at the very last part of your project, you're gonna ruin it, and then your whole thing is not usable because now you have to cut this clasp, and then you have to like redo everything all over again. So that's why you don't want to mess up this last part because that's yes. Let's just be careful. Look, I'll be quiet and let me just pray. No, just kidding. Let me be quiet and let's see if I can just do this in one go and be able to finish this successfully. Because I definitely want to. It would be nice to have a finished project. Okay, so it's crossed right now. So let me just uncross that. And you know what? I'm gonna just. Okay, you're supposed to pull it a little bit more like this, so it's not super big and super prominent. Okay, I think that's good. Oh dear, I am nervous. All right, okay, let me just uncross that. Okay. And crimp. Sorry, I keep pulling it because I don't want that big of a space between the two crimps because it's not gonna look good that great with that huge of a gap. Okay, let me turn this. Okay. Okay, all right. Do or die. Crimp this. Okay, it looks like it worked because I see the little divot in the middle. And then let me just fold this in half. Yeah, so if it's crossed, if your loop isn't like this when you crimp it and you cross it like this, when you go to crimp it and you go to fold it, it'll give you grief. It might not fold properly and then oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah. So and then another challenge is folding. Folding is pretty hard too because if it doesn't fold, you could accidentally open the crimp, which isn't as bad as I think you can just redo it, but oh, thank goodness I folded it properly. So yeah, it's oh god, no, I did not. Oh god. Oh, oh dear, it did not fold right. Okay. Okay, so what I don't like about these metal crimps is if you don't fold, okay, so you're supposed to fold them like this. They're supposed to be tight, but sometimes when you try to fold them, they open up like this. They're just open now. See, they open up again. And that is the problem with working with stainless steel. Stainless steel is a little bit more rigid. So it's hard to get it to fold. It's hard to get it to like bend the way you want it to bend. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. At least I didn't destroy my string. Okay, let's try that again. Did I put this on? Okay, I did. Okay, let's try that one more time. The first time I did it where I almost failed, I accidentally cut through my thread and ruined my string. So I couldn't redo it. Is this the right direction? Okay, alright, that's good enough. Okay. All right, let's try it again. Okay, so it's crossing, so let me uncross that. Okay. Alright, let's try that again. Okay. So that crimp, I think I can fold it this time. I pressed it pretty hard so it'll bend in the correct direction. So I'm hoping it'll just fold. Oh god. You know what? I'm gonna press it even more before I ruin it again, because I think my string can only take so much abrasion before it starts to fail. Okay. Yay. Finished putting it on. So now it's correctly folded. Now it's secure. Oh. Let's pull it a few times. Yeah. Let's pull it a few times. Make sure it's really secure and cut that off. Cut off the tail. Okay. Alright, so this is what we'll do is now we'll... Oh, why is it bent? You know why? It's because I didn't cut enough. Oh, it's okay. That's okay, it's fine. So now we'll do the final step, which is putting on the crimp covers. So these covers go over these metal crimp tubes so that they look like beads. Kind of like this. So they will look like beads. They won't look like these ugly little like tube things that are folded, and they won't be scratchy against your skin when you wear them. So there's one, two, three here, and then because there's these crimp tubes up here. So they all need to be covered. So at first I was putting them on. I'll show you how I was putting them on in the beginning. I'll move that a little bit lower. This is so... Okay, these things are also small, so I don't know how some YouTubers just kind of... They show it like it looks so easy, like they just slide it on and then they're like, oh, look, it's like covered. But actually, you slide it on over the crimp tube. And then you have to use like a... What I've been doing is I've just been using the same tool. Let me just... Is it easier to see if I go this way? Yeah. So I've just been using this crimp tool to like close it up. But it's just... It's hard to grab it. Oh, like it's really hard to grab it, so it'll close, and then after you grab it and try to close it, it'll start to smush it. Okay, so here's an example. So I'm a little off camera, but I'm trying to close that over. There we go. So so the tube, I don't even know what I'm saying because this is so... So I'm trying to close it. But there's like still a slight opening to it. So you're trying to like align it so that it's like a letter C, and then you close it and it turns into like a circle. But it looks smushed because you're like pressing on it with this metal tool. Yes. But I did buy a tool that's supposed to... I should stop buying tools. But it's supposed to make your life easier. So I bought this tool, and it's the first time ever that I'm gonna be using it. I should really blow my nose again. I should have brought my paper towel over. So I bought this tool, and it's like the first time ever that I'm gonna be using it, and I don't even know if it's actually useful. But it's supposed to, it's like a very specific tool that is supposed to help me close these little crimp covers very easily. So, unboxing for 2 seconds. See how like there's a circle shape to it? So I'm supposed to just put this little crimp cover, this little C-shaped crimp cover, I'm supposed to put that in here, and it's supposed to help me close it, like automatically. But will it work? I don't know. It was on Temu, and this process has just been giving me so much grief that I said, okay, like, let me just see. Let me just try it, okay? It doesn't hurt to try. If it makes my life easier, why not? So you're supposed to put, I feel like it's already hard. You're supposed to put the crimp in there, like that. And then you put your whatever you're trying to cover in there like that. So it already holds it in place. Like that. You're supposed to center it really nicely like that. And that's so awkward. And then you're supposed to just... So now it's in there. Let's see if it actually does it. Wait, hold on. Is it working? Wait, hold on. It kind of closed it, but not really. It closed it. I don't know if you can see, but it kind of closed it halfway. But is there still a hole? So let me just try to... Maybe if I slide it in a different direction, like this way, it'll close it better. Oh god, I heard something just now. I heard a snap. I'm hoping that doesn't mean it snapped my thread. Okay. Okay, so it's closing it. It closed it, but... Hold on, let me hold it this way. It's really awkward when you have your crimp close to your other components, because for example here, see, you don't want it to crush your bead, so it has to be wide enough so it doesn't crush your bead. Okay, you know what, it didn't really work because there's a hole. See, you could still see a hole. I'll try it a different direction. Maybe once I get better, it'll work better. But for now, let's just go back to the previous. I like that I like that it kept the shape. So the bead is not destroyed, but it's not secure if it's not closed properly. So let me just close that properly. I think I would rather. There you go. Okay. You know what? It is what it is. Like, it's not the worst looking, you know, but it did make it easier to put on. So maybe I'll just use it to put it on, and then I'll just do the last step with pliers. So, or maybe I'll try it again. So I'll put this crimp cover here, right there, and then I'll put that there. Okay, now I'll center it properly, because it's supposed to be really important that you center it properly, otherwise it won't. Hold on, let me just use that to hold it for a sec. Yeah, right there. Okay. Okay, so let's see if it works. Yeah, I think I'm doing this wrong. I think I'm just too impatient. I'm just gonna close it manually like that. See how much faster it is? It's less perfect, but you can just shape it, I guess, a little bit this way if you really need that. But there. But it's okay. It's so small. Yeah. Yeah. You know, honestly, these bead covers are so small that, I mean, these beads are so small that when you put them on, they just kind of blend in with your ring, right? Like, it's not super obvious, so it's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can drive yourself crazy trying to make everything perfect, but it just needs to do its job, which is to cover the tube and not look too ugly, and and oh, and then you can just move on, and maybe over time you'll get better at it. That's what I tell myself anyway. Yeah, over time, I know what I'm just saying. It's late. Over time, you'll get better at it with practice, and it'll be faster. Just like how it looked like for those YouTube tutorials that I saw of people just doing this so easy. They make it look so easy, putting crimp covers on. I don't even think this crimp cover fits because my crimp isn't amazing crimp job, probably. This is like the most not fun part, I think. One of the most not fun parts of jewelry making is this tedious stuff like this. Like, the most fun part obviously is like designing and stringing, but then you have to like do all this other stuff like put crimp, and put crimp covers on. So, but you know, it has to be done. It's better to put it on so it looks good. You can't just leave your exposed, you know, bent and scratched tube and scratchy looking tube out. You just kind of just have to. Yes, I know. Practice is very important. You know, I'm looking forward to that time that this will no longer be such a huge struggle. I think I have a long way to go. But there we go. But you know what? It's not that bad. It's just it's not great, but it's not bad. Oh, all right. Okay, sorry. I really have to blow my nose. Give me a sec. Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot because, like, you know, when you're a beginner, obviously, if you're doing a hobby, right, you're mostly just doing it to make yourself, you know, happy. Or in my case, it's pretty relaxing. Some parts of it definitely not as relaxing, like putting on crimps. But, you know, I think that, um, thank you. Uh, I think that, you know, finishing a project, you just feel so good, you know? You just feel like, ah, I did something. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but it's cherry on top if somebody else likes the piece too, you know? Cherry on top. Okay, so here's another tool you haven't seen. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's the same tool I took out. Sorry, let me pull out another tool. Okay, so Sorry about that. As a beginner, I also did not know this tool existed, right? So I was researching how do I make jump rings more secure, and someone suggested I use split rings. Split rings are these, okay, so you know keychains, they have like multiple like loops to them. So in jewelry making, you can do just simple like one piece of metal and you just open it one way. But apparently these ones, because they're looped, they're more secure. And I really wanted to make very secure bracelets, which is, I don't know why I torture myself like this. I really don't have to torture myself like this. But yes, so multiple loops. Oh, why is my just, oh my goodness, it's midnight. Okay. Multiple loops. So it's more secure because obviously it's more loops. So it's harder to stretch and break it and open the opening, right? So, but for something small like this, you're gonna break your nail like trying to open it. So this is, oh, you use your teeth? Oh, when you open like a keychain, oh man, please don't break your teeth. Because this is made of metal, oh my goodness. So what this is this is a split ring opener. It's got a little hook to it. And I got this just so I could work with these kinds of jump rings without breaking my nails. So what you do is you just use this hook part to open up one part of it. Like, see, like that. It's now open. It separates, it hooks into one of the things and it opens it. And this is really small, so it's very tight and it's actually really hard to do this trick. But you could slide this all the way. You could keep sliding this through the whole ring. Like if you turn it and just keep sliding it through, you can eventually pull your other ring through it. But because this is so small and hard to work with, all I do really is I use this just to keep it open. So I open it like that with that hook. All I do is I open it and I slide oh my gosh, I slide it through this other split ring in the smallest area. That so yeah, I slide it through just until I could slide it through, and then I take it off and then I can just slide this the rest of the day because it's very smooth. But again, you have to kind of, I guess I could use pliers to pull it, but it's okay. I can usually just, this is why this takes so long, because this is so small and tight. But eventually I'll get it through. And honestly, I didn't expect that one tool to be so useful, but for working with this kind of ring, I can't imagine doing this without that tool. It's just so hard to even open this, and let alone like, it's so hard to also slide it through, but eventually I get it done. Yeah, I can do exactly. So you know what? I say it's worth it for me to have this tool. Okay, so I like to, okay, so these 3 strands are connected to this one split ring, and I like to just put another split ring so that when you clasp, it'll be a little bit easier and cleaner to clasp to just one ring. And also if you do find that it's too loose, you can always clasp it to the original ring, but I just find that it's cleaner that way. And I don't think I'm gonna make a dongle. Sorry, a dangle. I don't think I'm gonna make a dangle. Dangle is that thing where like it's kind of like a charm that people put in their bracelets all the time for when, you know, they have this thing and then they have like little dangles dangling, because it'll be too much. if I add a dangle to this. This is already such a busy looking bracelet that if I add a dangle to it, it'll be like crazy. You know, I think there's something to be said about knowing when to stop. Knowing when to stop. So I think that this is a good kind of stopping point. The thing about making a really busy bracelet like this that is multi-strand is it is a little bit hard to clasp. So I just have to open up the clasp ahead of time, like this. I feel like the split ring is just a little bit easier to work with than this lobster clasp, but we'll get it on. We'll get it on. Okay, so I ended up using the same original ring that the other three are attached to. But this is, I have a really small wrist, so actually 6.5. Actually, let me measure this. Let me hold on. How long is this? I was going for 6.5, but maybe from all of these extra things, it became longer. Okay, let's measure it. 6. Oh dear, it's 7. That's good to know for next time. This extra 2 beads and then the what do you call this? The crimp tube, the 2 crimp tubes, and then the little like string that attaches to the lobster clasp plus the lobster clasp made it 7 inches. So actually this is a little too big for me because my wrist is, I have a very skinny wrist. It's closer to like, oh man, sorry about my nails. I don't really know how to do nails, so I just painted it. But here, I'm just gonna put it on again because we finished. So yeah, this is a little too loose for me, but look how, I'm sorry, it's all bone, but this is a little too loose for me. But if I had made it 6.5 like I originally planned, it would be just right. But this is how it looks. So you have the multi-strand bit, and then you can wear it like, you know, half and half. And then you can also just kind of wear it like this. There's like lots of ways to wear it. Thank you. Thank you. I think I'm not sure. I think I turned on my video on demand VOD option, so I actually make this from start to finish in this one stream. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so that's how that looks. And what I like the best about this style is that there is a lot of variety. So I see a lot of bracelets that are kind of more minimalist, and there's a time and place for that, of course. Like I really enjoy some more minimalist bracelets. Like I bought this and it's just one kind of bead and it's just elastic. You know, it's very easy to wear and you know, very cute. But there's also like sometimes you just need that extra, you know, like that extra bling sparkle to your day. Yeah, that extra fun kind of, you know, fun, like magical vibe. And that's why I wanted to do this kind of project where it's just this very like clears, pink, purple, all kinds of beads, stars, very moon, like prism power, makeup, like style. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Green is, yes, the green, this is all, this is actually jade. Different colors of jade. Not high quality jade, not expensive jade, just regular jade. And yeah, I just got this from Etsy. And you don't get to pick, like they just say, okay, this is jade. This is kind of what it looks like. You'll get something that looks like this. So I just wanted a jade bracelet for luck. and I just got one, and I've been wearing it for like, you know, a few months now, and you know, it's fun. It's nice. It's cold because it's made of minerals. It's cold to the touch. This is made of stone, but this is made of glass, so it's also pretty cold. Yeah. Anyway, here's the finished product. Yay! And I'm gonna unclasp it, and I'm gonna if I can get it off. That's the biggest challenge with these kinds of things, is the clasping. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to wear this to sleep. No, I can't wear this to sleep. I must get it off. Okay. There we go. Make a shape. Shape like... Ta-da! Finished. Ta-da! What is my favorite color? My favorite color right now is... I really like pink and purple right now. I'm in that, like, a nostalgic kind of girly vibe, like, situation right now. I also really like green, pink, and purple. Those three. Yes, pink is such a, I would say, cheerful color. You know, you look at it and you're just like, oh. You know, it gives you a little bit of that pick-me-up kind of feeling. So that's why I also focused on pink and purple as my primary palette for my projects. So I'm gonna just kind of clean up here, and I probably will continue to clean up off camera, but yeah, I think that's it for today's stream. Here's my beads. I thought I would display them one more time. And I think in my next stream, I won't be using this. I think I'll repair my friend's bracelet. I have all the beads, so I'll repair that. I think that will be my next stream. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. And thank you for chatting with me. I really honestly thought there was nobody watching my stream. I thought I was talking to myself. So I do appreciate it so much. And yeah, I really hope to see you again next time. I'm planning on streaming, I think, every Sunday night, like kind of what I'm doing tonight. I think once a week, because really this is like the best time for me. So I might see you again next Sunday night, if that works. But if not, it's fine. It's fine. Of course. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Good night. I don't know where you are located. You don't have to tell me. But in my time zone, it's nighttime. It's midnight. So thank you again. Good night. And I wish you all the best wherever you are. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Oh, okay. So I think we have the same time zone, right? Is it also midnight there? I feel like it's also midnight there. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you know what? It's daylight savings. It's daylight savings here in Canada. So yeah. Oh, I don't know. I feel awkward saying this, but like, gracias. Muchas gracias. Yeah, daylight savings over. I think that's why there's a time difference. Yes. Thank you. All right, my friend. Thank you again, and have a lovely rest of your night. And yeah, I'll see you again soon in another stream. Okay. Bye. Signing off. Thank you.